Cardinal Company Capital Budgeting Analysis, the Foundational 15 Framework, Net Present Value, IRR, and Payback Analysis. The $3 million question. Hello students, I'm Dr. Fulmore, and today we're about to witness Cardinal Company make a decision that could either mint money or burn it faster than your crypto portfolio in 2022. We're talking about a $2,975,000 investment. That's more money than most of us will see in a decade. And Cardinal's about to drop it on equipment like you drop money on that new iPhone you don't really need, but absolutely want. This isn't just about crunching numbers. This is about understanding whether throwing nearly $3 million at a project is genius or insanity. And spoiler alert, the difference between those two outcomes lives in the calculations we're about to master. I see you looking at those numbers thinking, this is giving anxiety. And you're right, $3 million decision should make you nervous. But here's the thing, whether you're evaluating a Fortune 500 investment or deciding if that $1,200 gaming setup is worth it, the principles are exactly the same. We're going to translate this corporate heavyweight decision into your language. Think of it like deciding whether to finance that car, invest in that course, or start that business you've been dreaming about. Every concept will connect to your reality because capital budgeting isn't just corporate speak. It's literally how you should evaluate every major financial decision in your life. Today's journey takes us through what I call the holy trinity of investment analysis: net present value, NPV, internal rate of return, IRR, and payback period. These aren't just formulas, they're your financial GPS, your investment compass, your should I or shouldn't I decision-making framework. We'll also explore profitability index, simple rate of return, and what happens when your assumptions go sideways faster than your group project when someone ghosts. By the end of this session, you'll understand not just how to calculate these metrics, but why each one matters, and when to trust which one. Remember my philosophy. To know accounting, you must do accounting. So grab your calculator. Yes, the one on your phone works fine. Open that Excel template I posted, and prepare to transform from someone who fears big financial decisions to someone who concocts them. We're not just learning formulas today, we're learning how to think like the CFO you're destined to become. Let's turn Cardinal Company's dilemma into your education. The money we're about to analyze isn't real, but the skills you're about to gain, those are worth more than Cardinal's entire investment. Meet Cardinal Company. Imagine them as that mid-sized tech company making the smart home devices you can't afford but desperately want. They're at a crossroads, staring at a $2,975,000 investment in new equipment. That's not a typo. We're talking nearly $3 million. To put that in perspective, that's like buying 2,975 MacBook Pros, or paying for 74 students' entire college education, or approximately 595,000 Chipotle bowls with guac. This isn't pocket change. This is bet the company money. The equipment they're considering has a 5-year useful life with zero salvage value, meaning after 5 years, it's worth exactly what your high school relationship is worth now: nothing. The company's discount rate is 14%, which is their hurdle rate, their this better be worth it benchmark. Think of it like your minimum acceptable GPA. Anything below that, and you're in trouble. That 14% represents what Cardinal could earn elsewhere with similar risk, like if they just invested in the stock market or bought bonds, or did literally anything else with that money. Now here's where it gets juicy: the projected annual numbers. Sales of $2,735,000. That's a lot of smart home devices. But variable expenses eat up $1 million of that. That leaves a contribution margin of $1,735,000. Pretty thick margins, like Apple level profitable. But wait, there's more. Fixed expenses come in two flavors: out-of-pocket costs of $735,000, actual cash going out for advertising, salaries and other fixed costs, and depreciation of $595,000. The accounting way of spreading that $2,975,000 investment over 5 years. After all that, we're left with net operating income of $405,000 per year. Here's the million-dollar question, or rather, the $2,975,000 question, is this project worth it? Warren Buffett says, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Well, we're about to know exactly what we're doing. We'll evaluate this investment from every angle: time value of money, payback speed, return rates, and what happens when Murphy's Law kicks in. As Peter Thiel notes in 0 to 1, going from 0 to 1 is harder than going from 1 to N. Cardinal is trying to go from 0, no project, to 1, project launched, and we're going to determine if that leap is worth taking. Question 1. Cash flow reality check. Question. Which items in the income statement shown above will not affect cash flows? Answer. Depreciation expense of $595,000 is the only non-cash item. Let me blow your mind real quick. Not everything on an income statement involves actual money changing hands. Depreciation is like your phone losing value the second you unbox it, except you don't actually pay anyone when that happens. That $595,000 depreciation is what we call a paper expense. It reduces taxable income, good for taxes, but doesn't reduce your bank account, good for cash flow. It's like getting credit for an expense you're not actually paying. It's basically legal financial magic. Think about it this way. You buy a gaming laptop for $3,000. Over 3 years, it depreciates by $1,000 per year for accounting purposes. But do you write a check for $1,000 each year? No. You paid the full $3,000 up front. That annual $1,000 depreciation is just accounting's way of spreading the cost over time. Same with Cardinal. They'll pay $2,975,000 up front, but accounting spreads it as $595,000 per year. The cash is already gone, but the expense lives on in the books. This is crucial for cash flow analysis because cash is king, and kings don't care about accounting fiction. When Jeff Bezos was building Amazon, he famously said, "Your margin is my opportunity." But what he really meant was, your focus on accounting profit is my opportunity to dominate with cash flow. Every other item, sales, variable expenses, those $735,000 fixed costs, those involve real money moving. But depreciation, that's just accounting poetry, not cash reality. Understanding this distinction is the difference between being broke with great accounting profits, WeWork, and being rich with terrible accounting profits, early Amazon. Malcolm Gladwell would call this the accounting paradox, where what looks bad on paper might actually be good for cash, and vice versa. For Cardinal, this means their actual annual cash flow is $405,000 plus that $595,000 depreciation add back, giving us the real number we need for investment analysis. Remember, in the cash flow game, depreciation is your friend who looks like an expense but acts like income. Question 2. Annual net cash inflows. Question. What are the project's annual net cash inflows? Answer. $1 million per year. Here's where we separate the accounting students from the finance students. Net operating income of $405,000 is what shows up on the income statement. But cash flow? That's a different beast entirely. We add back that non-cash depreciation of $595,000 to get annual net cash inflows of $1 million. It's like your parents seeing your bank account income statement versus seeing your Venmo transactions cash flow. Two very different stories. Let me break this down with math that actually makes sense. Net operating income, $405,000, accounting profit. Add back depreciation, $595,000, non-cash expense, equals annual cash inflow, $1 million, real money flow. This is exactly like when you calculate your actual spending money. Your income might be $2,000 per month after rent and bills, but if $500 of those bills is student loan principal that's building your net worth, your actual spendable cash is $2,500. Same principle. Add back the non-cash items to find real cash flow. Ray Dalio emphasizes in Principles that truth, or more precisely an accurate understanding of reality, is the essential foundation for any good outcome. The truth here is that Cardinal will have $1 million in actual cash flowing in each year, not just the $405,000 the income statement suggests. That's like finding out your significant other has been secretly saving $500 a month for your future together. The relationship, income statement, looked good before. But the reality, cash flow, is even better. This $1 million annual cash flow is what we'll use for all our time value of money calculations, because NPV and IRR care about cash, not accounting fiction. Question 3. Present value of cash inflows. Question. What is the present value of the project's annual net cash inflows? Answer. $3,433,000. Time for some financial time travel. We're taking those future cash flows of $1 million per year and asking, what are they worth today? Using Cardinal's 14% discount rate and the annuity factor of 3.433 for 5 years, we get $1 million times 3.433 equals $3,433,000. That's like finding out those Bitcoin you bought in 2015 are worth, well, a lot more than you paid. This present value factor of 3.433 is doing heavy lifting here. It's basically saying, if you receive $1 million per year for 5 years, discounted at 14%, it's equivalent to receiving $3.433 million today. It's like when someone offers you either $100 now or $20 per month for 6 months. You need to calculate which is actually worth more considering the time value of money. Spoiler, take the $100 now and invest it. Think about this in student terms. Would you rather have $5,000 today or $1,200 per year for 5 years? That's $6,000 total in the second option, but spread over 5 years. At a 14% discount rate, credit card interest rate energy, that $6,000 future stream is worth less than $5,000 today. Cardinal's situation is the opposite. Their future cash flows of $5 million total, $1 million times 5 years, are worth $3.433 million today, which is more than their $2.975 million investment. It's giving good investment vibes. Warren Buffett says, someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Cardinal is planting a $2.975 million tree that will provide $3.433 million worth of shade in present value terms. The fact that the present value of inflows, $3.433 million, exceeds the investment, $2.975 million, is our first hint that this project might be a winner. But we need more evidence before Cardinal writes that check. Question 4. Net present value, the ultimate verdict. Question. What is the project's net present value? Answer. $458,000. This is it, the moment of truth. Net present value equals present value of cash. Inflows minus initial investment, $3,433,000 minus $2,975,000 equals $458,000. That positive $458,000 means Cardinal creates nearly $500,000 in value by doing this project. It's like buying something for $2,975,000 that's actually worth $3,433,000. You're up $458,000 before you even start. That's not just profit, that's value creation. Let me paint you the complete NPV picture with a timeline that slaps. Now, shell out $2,975,000. Ouch, that hurts. Years 1 to 5, receive $1 million annually. Cha-ching. Present value math. Those future millions equals $3,433,000 today. Net effect plus $458,000 in value created. This is exactly like when you evaluate going to grad school. Pay $100,000 now, negative NPV component. Earn an extra $30,000 per year for your career, positive NPV component. If the present value of those extra earnings exceeds $100,000, you've got positive NPV. Cardinal situation is the corporate version. Invest big now, earn bigger later. The beauty of positive NPV is its clarity. As Peter Drucker said, The best way to predict the future is to create it. Cardinal is creating $458,000 worth of future value. This isn't speculative, this is mathematical. If their assumptions hold, big if, which we'll test later, this project adds value equivalent to finding $458,000 in the couch cushions. In the corporate world, any positive NPV project should be accepted, period. It's like someone offering you a legitimate way to turn $2.975 million into $3.433 million. You take that deal every single time. Question 5, Profitability Index. Question, what is the profitability index for this project? Answer, 1.15. The profitability index is like ROI's cooler cousin. It shows bang for your buck. Calculate it as present value of cash inflows divided by investment required. 3,433,000 divided by 2,975,000 equals 1.15. This means for every dollar Cardinal invests, they get $1.15 back in present value terms. It's like a vending machine where you put in $1 and get $1.15 worth of snacks. That's a vending machine you'd use every day until they fixed it. Think about this ratio in your life. You spend $1,000 on a professional certification, and it increases your lifetime earnings by a present value of $1,150. That's a profitability index of 1.15. Not mind-blowing, but solid. Or imagine buying $100 of supplies to start a side hustle that generates $115 in present value profit. Again, 1.15 profitability index. The key is that anything over 1.0 means you're creating value. The profitability index is especially useful when you're capital constrained, aren't we all? If Cardinal had multiple projects to choose from but limited funds, they'd rank them by profitability index. It's like having $1,000 to invest and choosing between crypto, PI of 0.5 because it'll probably tank, index funds, PI of 1.1 because steady growth, or that business idea your smart friend has, PI of 1.5 because she knows what she's doing. You pick the highest PI that you believe in. Charlie Munger says, the first rule of compounding is never interrupt it unnecessarily. A profitability index of 1.15 means Cardinal's money will compound at a rate that beats their 14% hurdle rate. It's not spectacular, tech startup stream of 10 times returns, but it's reliable value creation. In a world where most projects destroy value, looking at you, Queeby, a 1.15 profitability index is actually pretty solid. Question 6, Internal Rate of Return. Question, what is the project's internal rate of return to the nearest whole percent? Answer, 20%. Time for some financial archaeology. IRR is the discount rate that makes NPV equal 0. We need a factor of 2,975,000 divided by 1 million equals 2.975. Scanning the present value tables for 5-year annuities, 2.975 is closest to 2.991 at 20%. So Cardinal's project has an IRR of 20%, meaning it earns 20% annually on the invested capital. That's beating the stock market average by double. Let me demystify IRR with an analogy that hits. IRR is like finding the interest rate on a loan, but in reverse. If someone said, give me $2,975,000 now, and I'll pay you $1 million per year for 5 years, the IRR tells you what interest rate they're effectively paying you. At 20%, Cardinal's project is like a savings account paying 20% interest. Show me a bank offering that and I'll show you a scam. But this isn't a bank. It's a business investment creating real value. Think about IRR in dating terms. Stay with me. You invest time and emotional energy, your $2,975,000, into a relationship, and you get happiness and growth in return, your $1 million annual cash flows. The IRR measures the return on your emotional investment. A 20% IRR means this relationship is giving you more than you're putting in. That's marriage material. Cardinal's 20% IRR versus their 14% required return is like finding someone who exceeds all your standards. Jeff Bezos once said, "We've had 3 big ideas at Amazon that we've stuck with for 18 years, and they're the reason we're successful. Put the customer first, invent, and be patient." That patience pays off when projects return 20% annually. Since 20% is greater than 14%, their hurdle rate, this project clears the bar with room to spare. It's not just acceptable, it's genuinely attractive. In a world where treasury bonds pay 5% and savings accounts pay 0.01%, Cardinal's 20% IRR is absolutely crushing it. Question 7. Payback period. Question: what is the project's payback period? Answer: 2.98 years, approximately 3 years. Payback period is the "how fast can I get my money back" metric, and Cardinal recovers their $2,975,000 in just under 3 years. Here's the breakdown. Year 1. Recover $1 million. Still owed $1,975,000. Year 2. Recover $1 million. Still owed $975,000. Year 3. Recover $975,000 of the $1 million received. More precisely, 2 years plus $975,000 divided by $1 million equals 2.98 years. It's like lending your friend money and getting it all back before junior year ends. This is exactly like calculating when your student loans will be paid off, or when that expensive camera you bought for your photography business will pay for itself. If you spend $3,000 on equipment and make $1,000 a month from gigs, your payback is 3 months. Cardinal's 3-year payback means they're whole before year 4 even starts, with 2 years of pure profit ahead. It's like paying off your car in year 3 of a 5-year loan. Those last 2 years feel free. The beauty and danger of payback period is its simplicity. Beauty: it's easy to understand and focuses on liquidity. Danger: it ignores time value of money and anything after payback. It's like judging a relationship by how quickly they text back useful information but not the whole story. Cardinal's sub-3-year payback on a 5-year project is actually fantastic. Rule of thumb: if payback is less than half the project life, you're in good shape. Malcolm Gladwell talks about the 10,000-hour rule for mastery. Cardinal's 3-year payback is like achieving mastery in 6,000 hours, ahead of schedule with time to enjoy the benefits. For context, most corporate projects target 3 to 5 year paybacks. Cardinal beating 3 years means this project has velocity, urgency, and momentum. As they say in Silicon Valley, speed is the ultimate weapon in business. Cardinal gets their money back fast enough to redeploy it elsewhere while still enjoying years 4 and 5 of pure gravy. Question 8. Simple rate of return. Question: what is the project's simple rate of return for each of the 5 years? Answer: 13.61%. Simple rate of return is the accounting world's attempt at measuring profitability, calculated as annual net operating income divided by initial investment, $405,000 divided by $2,975,000 equals 13.61%. This is like calculating your GPA without weighting the classes. It gives you a number, but misses important nuances. Still, 13.61% annual return beats your savings account's insulting 0.01% by approximately infinity. Think about this in terms you live every day. You invest $3,000 in a side business, making custom phone cases, reselling sneakers, whatever. If you earn $408 in accounting profit per year, that's a 13.6% simple rate of return. Not bad, but notice how this is lower than the 20% IRR we calculated? That's because simple rate uses accounting income, $405,000, while IRR uses cash flow, $1 million. It's like comparing your Instagram followers, simple rate, to your actual friends, IRR, related but different metrics. Here's where it gets interesting. Simple rate of 13.61% is below Cardinal's 14% required return, yet NPV is positive and IRR is 20%. How? Because simple rate ignores time value of money and uses accounting income instead of cash flow. It's like judging a movie by its opening weekend instead of total lifetime gross. Simple rate would say, maybe don't do this project, while every other metric screams, do it. Warren Buffett warns, beware of geeks bearing formulas. Simple rate of return is that formula that sounds smart but might lead you astray. At 13.61%, it's actually not bad. It beats inflation, bonds, and most mutual funds. But it's the weakest of our metrics because it ignores cash flow timing. Cardinal shouldn't rely solely on simple rate, just like you shouldn't choose a job solely based on the salary without considering benefits, growth potential, and work-life balance. Question 9. Sensitivity to discount rate changes. Question. If the company's discount rate was 16% instead of 14%, would you expect the project's NPV to be higher, lower, or the same? Answer. Lower. Higher discount rates reduce NPV. This is crucial. Discount rates and NPV have an inverse relationship. When discount rates go up, NPV goes down, like your motivation inversely correlating with the number of assignments due. At 16% instead of 14%, Cardinal's future cash flows become worth less today. It's like inflation making your future salary worth less. Same dollars, less purchasing power. Think about it with a real example. Someone offers you $1,000 1 year from now. At 14% discount rate, that's worth $877 today. $1,000 divided by 1.14. At 16%, it's worth only $862 today. $1,000 divided by 1.16. Same $1,000 future payment, but higher discount rate equals lower present value. Now multiply that effect by 5 years of million-dollar cash flows, and you see why Cardinal's NPV would tank with a higher discount rate. This sensitivity matters because discount rates aren't carved in stone. If interest rates rise, thanks Fed. If Cardinal's risk increases, if alternative investments become more attractive, the discount rate goes up and NPV goes down. It's like how your standards for dating change based on your options. When you have lots of options, high discount rate, each individual option seems less valuable. When options are scarce, low discount rate, everything looks better. Ray Dalio says, "He who lives by the crystal ball will eat shattered glass." The discount rate is the crystal ball. It's Cardinal's guess about future opportunities and risks. At 14%, this project creates $458,000 in value. At 16%, it might barely break even. At 20%, the IRR, NPV would be exactly zero. This sensitivity is why CFOs lose sleep and why you should always test your assumptions. The takeaway: positive NPV is good, but understand how fragile that positivity might be. Question 10. Salvage value impact on payback. Question. If the equipment had a salvage value of $300,000 at the end of 5 years, would you expect the payback period to be higher, lower, or the same? Answer. The same. Payback ignores cash flows after the payback point. Plot twist: salvage value doesn't affect payback period at all. Why? Because Cardinal already recovers their full $2,975,000 investment by year 3. That $300,000 salvage value in year 5, payback period doesn't care. It's like your ex trying to get back together after you've already moved on. Once you've recovered your investment, payback stops counting. This reveals payback period's biggest weakness. It's financially nearsighted. It's like judging a relationship by the first 3 dates and ignoring the next 2 years. Cardinal gets their money back in 2.98 years, whether the equipment turns into gold or garbage afterward. Payback is asking, when do I break even? Not, how much do I make total? It's the financial equivalent of asking, when will I graduate? Instead of, what job will I get after? Think about buying a car. You calculate payback based on gas savings versus car payments. Once the gas savings cover the purchase price, you've hit payback. Whether you can sell the car later for $5,000 or $0 doesn't change when you hit that break-even point. Same with Cardinal. That $300,000 salvage value is sweet extra cash, but it arrives after the payback party is already over. Peter Thiel writes, "The most contrarian thing of all is not to oppose the crowd, but to think for yourself." Payback period thinks for itself by completely ignoring salvage value, which is both its strength, simplicity, and weakness, incompleteness. This is why we use multiple metrics. Payback tells us about liquidity and risk, but misses the full value picture. Cardinal's 2.98-year payback remains unchanged, even with $300,000 waiting at the finish line. Question 11. Salvage value impact on NPV. Question. If the equipment had a salvage value of $300,000 at the end of 5 years, would you expect the NPV to be higher, lower, or the same? Answer. Higher. Salvage value adds to year 5 cash flows. Now we're talking. That $300,000 salvage value is like finding money in your winter coat, except you know it's there and can plan for it. In year 5, Cardinal would receive $1 million, normal cash flow, plus $300,000, salvage value, equals $1,300,000 total. Even discounted back 5 years at 14%, that extra $300,000 has a present value of about $155,000. Add that to the current NPV of $458,000, and we're looking at over $600,000 in value creation. Let me break down the math that matters. Salvage value in year 5, $300,000. Present value factor for year 5 at 14%, 0.519. Present value of salvage, $300,000 times 0.519 equals $155,700. New NPV, $458,000 plus $155,700 equals $613,700. This is like selling your car at the end of a lease instead of returning it. That salvage value is found money, pure profit, extra cheese on your already profitable burger. Think about it in student terms. You buy a MacBook for $2,000 for your graphic design business. After 3 years of making money with it, you can still sell it for $500. That $500 doesn't change how quickly you recovered your $2,000, but it definitely makes the overall investment sweeter. Cardinal's situation is the same, but with more zeros. That salvage value is the cherry on top of an already profitable sundae. Malcolm Gladwell says, "The key to good decision-making is not knowledge, it is understanding. Understanding that salvage value dramatically improves NPV while leaving payback unchanged shows you truly get these metrics." Cardinal's project goes from good to great with salvage value. It's like finding out your degree comes with a $20,000 signing bonus you didn't know about. Doesn't change when you graduate, but definitely changes the value proposition. Question 12. Salvage value impact on simple rate of return. Question. If the equipment had a salvage value of $300,000 at the end of 5 years, would you expect the simple rate of return to be higher, lower, or the same? Answer. Higher. Salvage value reduces annual depreciation expense. Here's where accounting gets spicy. With $300,000 salvage value, annual depreciation drops to $2,975,000 minus $300,000 divided by 5 equals $535,000 per year. That's $60,000 less depreciation expense annually, which means $60,000 more in net operating income. New NOI becomes $465,000, and simple rate of return jumps to $465,000 divided by $2,975,000 equals 15.63%. We just went from underperforming the 14% hurdle to beating it. This is accounting magic at work. Same cash flows, different accounting treatment, totally different simple rate of return. It's like how your GPA changes depending on whether that internship counts as 3 credits or 6 credits. Same work, same learning, different GPA impact. The salvage value doesn't change Cardinal's actual annual cash flows, but it completely changes how accountants score the project. Let me show you the transformation. Old annual depreciation, $595,000, assuming 0 salvage. New annual depreciation, $535,000 with $300,000 salvage. Depreciation savings, $60,000 per year. New net operating income, $405,000 plus $60,000 equals $465,000. New simple rate, $465,000 divided by $2,975,000 equals 15.63%. Jack Welch said, "Face reality as it is, not as it was or as you wish it to be. The reality is that salvage value makes this project look better on paper and in cash terms. Simple rate of return is particularly sensitive to depreciation assumptions, which is why accountants can make projects look good or bad just by tweaking salvage values. Cardinal goes from a maybe at 13.61% to a definitely at 15.63%, all because of equipment worth something at the end. Integration and what-if analysis, when reality hits. Now let's get real with questions 13 to 15 where everything goes sideways. What if Cardinal's variable expense ratio is actually 45% instead of 36.6%? This is like finding out your all-inclusive spring break package has a bunch of hidden fees. New variable expenses become $1,230,750 annually, reducing annual cash flow to $769,250. Let's recalculate everything. New NPV calculation, annual cash flow, $2,735,000, $1,230,750, $735,000 equals $769,250. Present value of inflows, $769,250 times 3.433 equals $2,640,835. NPV $2,640,835 to $2,975,000 equals negative $334,165. Negative NPV. This project just went from creating $458,000 in value to destroying $334,000. It's like finding out your profitable food truck actually loses money once you factor in the real cost of ingredients. This is why sensitivity analysis matters more than your initial calculations. New payback period, year 1, $769,250, still owe $2,205,750. Year 2, $769,250, still owe $1,436,500. Year 3, $769,250, still owe $667,250. Year 4, $667,250 of $769,250 recovered. Payback. 3 plus $667,250 divided by $769,250 equals 3.87 years. Payback stretched from 2.98 to 3.87 years. That's 30% longer to get your money back. It's like your 3-year loan becoming a 4-year commitment because interest rates changed. New simple rate of return, new NOI, $769,250 to $595,000 equals $174,250. Simple rate, $174,250 divided by $2,975,000 equals 5.86%. From 13.61% to 5.86%. That's a brutal drop. This project went from maybe acceptable to definitely not, faster than your GPA when you fail that final. This is why Peter Drucker says, the greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence itself, but to act with yesterday's logic. Cardinal's yesterday logic assumed 36.6% variable cost ratio. Today's reality, at 45%, completely changes the decision. This sensitivity analysis shows how fragile our initial yes decision was. Just an 8.4 percentage point change in variable costs flips this from value creation to value destruction. Your action plan from theory to practice. All right, future CFOs, here's your 5-step action plan to master capital budgeting like Cardinal should have. Step 1, always calculate multiple metrics. Never rely on just NPV or just payback. Calculate NPV, IRR, payback, and profitability index. Each tells a different part of the story. It's like evaluating a date based on looks, personality, ambition, and compatibility, not just one factor. Cardinal's project looked good on IRR, 20%, but questionable on simple rate, 13.61%. Multiple perspectives prevent costly mistakes. Step 2. Sensitivity analysis is mandatory. Test what happens when your assumptions are wrong. What if sales are 10% lower, costs 10% higher, discount rate changes? Cardinal's project collapsed when variable cost hit 45%. Your personal equivalent. What if your side hustle makes 30% less than projected? What if your car needs repairs sooner? Build pessimistic scenarios before you commit. Step 3. Understand cash flow versus accounting profit. Cardinal's $405,000. Accounting profit versus $1 million cash flow shows this gap. In your life, your salary might be $50,000, but after taxes, insurance, and 401k, your cash flow is $35,000. Make decisions based on cash you'll actually see, not theoretical accounting numbers. Cash is reality. Accounting is poetry. Step 4. Time value of money changes. Everything $1 million in 5 years is not worth $1 million today. At 14%, it's worth $519,000. This is why lottery winners take the lump sum, why you should start investing now, and why Cardinal needs such detailed analysis. Every financial decision should consider when money arrives, not just how much. Step 5. Apply this framework everywhere. Evaluating grad school? Calculate NPV of future earnings versus cost. Buying versus leasing a car. Run the cash flows. Starting a business? What's your payback period? Choosing between job offers? Factor in all benefits, not just salary. Cardinal Company taught us that a seemingly profitable project can become a disaster with small assumption changes. Don't let that be your story. Run the numbers, test your assumptions, and remember, to know accounting, you must do accounting. Open Excel right now and calculate the NPV of a real decision you're facing. That's not homework, that's life skills that compound forever. The difference between financial success and failure often comes down to these calculations. Whether you're investing $2,975,000 like Cardinal or $2,975 like a college student, the principles are identical. Master them now and watch every financial decision become clearer, more confident, and more profitable. Remember, Cardinal's story is your story waiting to happen. Every time you face a major financial decision, that car, that degree, that business idea, that investment, you're Cardinal Company. The only question is, will you make decisions based on hope and gut feeling, or will you calculate NPV, test sensitivity, and make decisions based on financial reality? As Warren Buffett says, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Now you know exactly what you're doing. You can calculate NPV, IRR, and payback. You understand depreciation's impact on cash flow. You know why salvage value matters for some metrics, but not others. You're dangerous now. Dangerous to bad investments, dangerous to financial predators, dangerous to anyone trying to sell you a bad deal. Take these tools and use them. Calculate the NPV of everything, test every assumption, and remember, positive NPV creates value, but only if your assumptions hold. Be like Cardinal should have been, thorough, careful, and ready for reality to differ from projections. Class dismissed, but your financial education, that's just getting started. Download the Excel template, run your own scenarios, and tag me when you use these tools to make your first million. Dr. Fulmore out.